skit, Marlon and Caroline were arrested together earlier today in some kind of heist. We're not totally clear on what. And they've been put in separate cells. They haven't seen or talked to each other all day. There's an invisible wall here, but they can't see or hear each other through it. So, action. Act. Marlon Couts, I suppose you know you're in a great deal of trouble.
Yeah, whatever.
Facing some hard time here.
You got nothing.
Oh yeah, I got your little friend Caroline Crowland in the other room crying her eyes out, claiming you're the ringleader of this whole operation.
That's bullshit. She wouldn't tell you anything.
Oh really? Because she's been telling us things for hours.
She wouldn't rat on me. Me and her, we're like this.
Look, she gave us information.
We went to grade school together.
Oh really? Well,
she would never tell you anything. Your
close friend just told us, based on information that we got from her, we went to your apartment and we talked to your neighbors who said they saw you loading and unloading supplies used in this operation last night.
Okay, see, this is how I know you're full of crap. I wasn't even at my house last night.
Oh, really?
I wasn't even there, so whatever you're trying to make up here is not going to work.
Oh, really?
Just forget it.
Okay, well, sit tight, because you're going to be in here for a while.
Yeah, whatever.
Caroline Crowland, I suppose you know you're in a great deal of trouble.
Yeah.
Facing some hard time.
Whatever.
Your little friend Marlon Couts in the other cell is crying his eyes out, telling us you're the ringleader of the operation.
He wouldn't do that, come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's been talking to us for hours. He says that you planned this whole thing. The whole thing was done out of your house.
Wait.
He wasn't even at his house last night. He was at your house.
How'd you know that?
I'm telling you, he's been giving us information for hours. It's going to send you to jail for years.
No, that's not how it went down.
Really?
Yeah, no, like, it wasn't my idea, okay?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, I sort of thought he was laying a little too much of this blame on you. So I wrote up this statement. See if this kind of sets the record straight. That sort of shows that he was more in charge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, it wasn't my idea. I don't know why he would tell you that.
Why don't you sign that then? All right, well, we'll get you out of here real quick. You recognize that signature?
What is this? Wait, she signed this?
Yeah.
No, this is all wrong.
I told you, you're the one facing the hard consequences because she's the one cooperating.
She came to me. She was like, hey, I know you got all those bills. Like, I got this cool thing we could do. We'll make some extra money. Like, it was her idea. I was just basically along for the ride.
You know, I sort of got the impression she was laying too much of this on you, so I drew up this other statement. See if that kind of sets the record straight.
I mean, I don't want to snitch.
Oh, well, she didn't seem to have that problem.
Okay, but if I sign this, I can get immunity, right?
Right, we'll send you home tonight.
All right.
So what we call that, or what that is called, is snitch counter snitch. It's where the cops try to convince you that your friend rolled over on you, and they try to convince your friend that you rolled over on them, and ultimately end up screwing you both. And it looks hokey in our little skit that we did here, but this actually works on people. Why? Because you're in jail, you're scared, you don't know what kind of time you're facing. The cops have had you in there for who knows how long, and they've been working on your head this whole time. And remember, they're allowed to lie. They're allowed to lie to try and get information out of you. So they may have been telling you all kinds of crazy stuff for hours and hours, right? They're allowed to make up fake evidence. They're allowed to make up fake charges that you could be facing, wave around fake signed confessions, right? Fake witnesses, fake DNA. And all of this is in evidence of in aid of getting you to give them some evidence against yourself that they can use to make whatever they've charged you with stick. So it's not in your best interest to talk to them, right? Like, once you're in jail, obviously you're not going to talk your way back out the door. So keep your mouth shut. You're never better off talking before you've talked to a lawyer. Now, if you get a lawyer and you talk to them and you decide together, okay, maybe this piece of information is a good idea to give the cops, you can do that with your lawyer present. However, if you tell them something before you've talked to a lawyer, you cannot get that information back. You cannot undo that action. So you're better off not saying anything to cops or anyone else, because anything that you say while in police custody might be being recorded, right, from inside the cop car to inside the jail cell. So the person sitting next to you in the jail cell could be a plant, or they could be a real person, regular person, that's trying to trade information about you to get themselves a lighter sentence, right? So don't say anything about illegal activities that could get you or someone else in trouble. All you need to say when you're in police custody is, I'm going to remain silent. I want to see a lawyer. That way they can't use any information that you give them against you. This is you asserting your Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate yourself, right? So these words, as legalistic and hokey as they may sound, carry special legal weight. They require the cops to stop questioning you in order to get evidence from you. So if you just say the first part, I'm going to remain silent, that causes the cops to stop questioning you right then. But if you say the whole bit, I'm going to remain silent, I want to see a lawyer, that requires them to stop questioning you until you've been before a judge. So if you say this and then you say anything else after that, that's technically you waiving your Fifth Amendment right, and it would allow them to come back and start questioning you again. But that's okay, because you could just say, I'm going to remain silent, I want to see a lawyer, again, and that's you reasserting your Fifth Amendment rights. So you can do this. It's like a light switch. When you say this, it's flipping your rights on. When you say something else, it's flipping them off. So you can do that for as long as as much as you want for the entire time you're in their custody. I'm going to remain silent, I want to see a lawyer. Ow, you're stepping on my foot. I'm going to remain silent, I want to see a lawyer. Of course, it's better to say this, just say this. That way there can't be any ambiguity or question about who said what and when they said it. And that way you can't accidentally say something that hurts you, right? Just say this, it's all you need to say. However, anytime you realize that you screwed up and waived a right by accident, you can reassert it, right? Like if they're in the middle of a search, you can always say, I don't consent to a search. Not as good, obviously, as saying it right up front, better than nothing, right? So just say I'm going to remain silent, I want to see a lawyer.
Can I have a question, please? If you want to see a lawyer, how do you get a lawyer?
Boy, you know what, that is beyond my scope as a trainer in this little training.
That's probably going to depend on the bureaucracy of the particular court system that you're in. So we don't know exactly.
That's probably going to come
You supposedly have the right to an attorney. So.
Right.
But they're not obligated to provide us with one.
The cops are not going to be providing you with an attorney. The court is going to do that. And so that's going to be when you're in front of a judge.
So a quick little note about signatures. Now, it's probably obvious to everyone from that skit, Marlon and Caroline are both going to jail for a long time, right? They both signed confessions. Now, the same thing with speaking to the cops without seeing a lawyer goes for signing something as well. Like, if you sign something before you've seen a lawyer, you can never get that signature back, right? You can always sign something later with a lawyer present if you both decide that that's a good idea. So the trick is never sign something that you're not absolutely certain what it is and certain that it's not a confession or a statement of facts. If you're not sure, wait to see a lawyer. Just don't sign it, stay in jail a couple extra days if you have to. Because if you sign something and it turns out to be something that condemns you, you could be spending a lot of time in jail. There are people that have sat in jail for decades because they signed something they didn't even know what it was, but it turned out to be something that sent them to jail for a long time. So that is it for that section. I'm going to hand it over to Marlon.